Morning to you and welcome to Signature Morning on Signature TV. Today is Wednesday, the 29th day of October 2025. Good morning, Lillian.
Good morning, Uche. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You're glowing.
Well, I just want to say something. Since this week there's been this trending issue about this man who molested his two daughters. And it just comes after the child defilement, the bill passed for child defilers, life imprisonment. And I just start to wonder, why do people go to such extent to, perpetrate such dastardly sexual abuses on people, especially their children,
Uche, to be honest, I do not have an answer to that question because I don't know if it's a psychological problem, spiritual problem, or I don't know what I would use to define that impunity. It's inhuman for a father to defile his two daughters. But then it's a good thing that they're implementing laws, trying to implement laws. But I don't know, can the government make provision to prevent it, before it happens?
I don't think anything can be done to prevent it at this point because, you can't tell what one would do in such situation. It's just really sad to see, people do these types of things. But we hope that the law, runs its course with him.
Right.
Well, you're welcome to the program. I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha.
And I am Lillian Wale. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now it's time for our newspaper headline and review, and we will start with the Punch newspaper. Hurricane Tinubu. Taraba, Plateau, Adamawa governors face defection dilemma. Kefas, Moftwang's political realignment looms. Fintiri holds ground. Planned defection on settled state APC leaders.
On page 2, enrollees stranded as NHIA server failure drags into weeks. Visa cancellation, why I snubbed U.S. Embassy summons, says Shoinka on page 21.
And also on page 2, seeing cool controversy, military interrogates MD, raids ex-governor's house. And on page 3 of the Punch newspaper, Senate set to grill new service chiefs today.
Abdul Razak receives 23 kidnapped victims rescued by military. Vote buying won't decide Anambra election, says Amupiton.
Hidden assets, court rules Abakari has case to answer and stays to earn over 4 trillion naira yearly from VAT reforms.
On the Vanguard newspaper, page 5, don't just reform, cut waste. Sanusi, Peterside tell FG. Challenge leaders on accountability, economic discipline, if reforms must work. Why do we need 48 ministers, long convoys, endless travel, says Sanusi. Benefits of subsidy removal can only be realized through proper governance, says Peterside. Tinubu's reforms already yielding results, Edu. Oti calls for leadership discipline, human capital investment to unlock Africa's prosperity.
And First Bank vindicated. Arbitration Tribunal dismisses GHL's $718 million claim. And Enugu emerges likely state to survive without FAAC allocations.
Senate NSCIF takeover, declaration of war on workers, says NLC. Threatens directive halting workers' fund deductions, remittances.
We've received threats from terrorists to bomb NAS. Reps raise alarm. Have been banned from US, says Shoinka.
And finally on the Vanguard, reps to probe NFF over $25 million FIFA grants.
And on the Daily Trust newspaper, we're seeing Sanusi to FG, borrowing after subsidy removal wrong.
$1 billion debt, banks take over Nest Oil.
8 years after threatening to tear green card, U.S. revokes Soyinka's visas, and Senate to screen service chiefs today.
Port Harcourt refinery shut down. how Nigeria lost 366.2 billion naira in months.
First Bank vindicated. Arbitration tribunal dismisses DHL's $780 million claim.
On the Nigerian Tribune, page 3, Anambra election. Violence will be met with strong, uncompromising response, says NSA. Pleased to deploy 45,000 officers. Amopiton justifies extension of collection of PVCs.
Reps probe NFF over alleged misuse of FIFA CAF grants. Benin Kebbi Stadium in focus. We have received threats from terrorists to bomb NAS, Reps Committee Chairman says.
Growing concern over CBN's bid to control Nigeria's fixed income market. And scientists turn flower fragrance into mosquito killer.
And US revokes Shoinka's visa.
And that is it on our newspaper headlines this morning. And now for our review, Chris Maduka. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Lucia. Good morning, Lila.
Good morning, Chris.
And good morning, people of the world. Welcome to another day on Signature TV Newspaper Review. We're here. Let's start with Punchy Punch.
Yes.
Hurricane Tinubu. Taraba, Plateau, Adamawa governors face defection dilemma. Kefas mocked Wang's political realignment. Looms, Fintiri holds ground. Planned defection on settled state APC leaders.
Yeah, you want us to start with hurricane. There's nothing about hurricane that is good. Hurricane is negative. Hurricane doesn't bring construction, it brings destruction. For them to use the tagline, Hurricane Tinubu, I don't know why our president will accept that. He's not a destructive president. Everywhere in my experience that hurricane has passed through, lives beside it in the trail, destructions. So if they're happy with Hurricane Tinubu, that's why Taraba, Plateau, Adamawa governors are confused. The headline said the first defection dilemma, or whatever they call it. So it's what confusion. In the midst of hurricane, there's confusion. So if this particular hurricane that's bringing confusion in Taraba, Plateau, and Adamawa is named Hurricane Tinubu, then I suggest that our president, our dear president, will change his name. We don't want his name attached with negativity, destruction, sorrow, sadness, confusion, and destruction. So whoever is advising, because he's our president, it's not only those who sit down and singing praises that are advising him. He is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If we are 240 million, he is our president. So we have also right to tell him, President Tinubu, for them to attach hurricane to your name at this time is not too good for you. Because anything hurricane does in Nigeria will be attached to hurricane. So detach your name from hurricane. Why not peace building Tinubu? Why not nation building Tinubu? Why hurricane Tinubu? Well, that's why you have confusion in those states. And anywhere hurricane goes, there are confusion. There's, people are in dilemma because one you understand this proverb, do you know? In the midst of confusion, you bring a he-goat, and there are even where the mother of the he-goat is among the she-goat. The he-goat will be climbing all of them agatakili. And that's the confusion of hurricane. So I'm not too happy with Hurricane Tinubu. And if a Hurricane Tinubu has passed through Edo, passed through Delta, but probably passed through Ebonyi, passed through Akwa Ibom and all, passed through Enugu, and then is heading towards Taraba, Plateau, Adamawa, when there's confusion. That means it's not a good omen. Let's move forward.
An interesting headline that is on all the newspapers is showing visa cancellation, why I snubbed U.S. Embassy's summons. Apparently, U.S. Embassy has revoked his visa.
There are times in a life I use myself, I studied theater arts. And if you have studied theater arts, first, second, third degree, so Wole Soyinka is a name you revere and cherish. He made his name and got Nigeria as how many times? He's the only Nigerian who has won the Nobel Rally, and that's it. And since then, anywhere he mentions his name, it's with this high level of his age. He has the age to his side. He has the academics and all. He has all you call natural intelligence that goes with Shoika. When you mention that name, it goes with her. But my father also said that Okulu Chezo onye ogbalege cheta, when the talker forgets, the person he talked to will remember. Just yesterday, the digital technology pulled out where the same professor, respected Professor Wole Soyinka, said if Trump wins the election in US, he will tear his green card. And Trump won election the first time, finished 4 years, left. Somebody came who did 4 years, and Trump came back. Probably Trump came back the second time, waiting for Professor Wole Soyinka to tear his green card. He didn't tear, so he decided to tear it for himself. So, whose problem? It calls for reflection. The traditional ruler of my village said, let nobody say he will not go to jail until the colonial masters go. Do not rush to make statements because you can make it. Like I sat here now, I am sitting here. I can sit here and make some statements that will haunt me all my life. So whenever you talk, think. And if you have thought through your statements, also be ready to take the consequences of whatever your statement. So the American, Wole Soyinka has said what he said. The Americans gave him time. He didn't tear his green card, and they've decided to cancel his visa. So he has to take diplomatic relation at the highest level, both from the office of the Nobel laureate people and then Nigeria on one side and America, the big brother of the world, on their side. Until that is sorted out, that is even there were less problems. So if you tear bofu bofu, you may bofu bofu. I've told you the story of bofu bofu. One heavy blow that caused trouble, and when the police come, they say, follow us to the station, make statement and face the consequences of bofu bofu. So that's how I can allude, the case of Professor Wole Soyinka, the much respect. He has not, that America took off his, so why is he making news? That has not reduced anything. Unless there's something they're telling us, that if you do not go to America, then now they have to get all of us American visa to hold a second city. Otherwise, America can go with their visa and Wole Soyinka. There will be so many nations of the world that are begging you to come and take the visa. So why the problem? America say, Wole Soyinka, just hold it. We don't want you to come to America. If Nigeria want to retaliate because they love Wole Soyinka too well, of course, he's close to us all. Let them retaliate and refuse Trump visa.
Okay. Now, on the Vanguard newspaper, we're saying, don't just reform, cut waste. Sanusi, Peter Side, tell FG. Why do we need 48 ministers, long convoys, and endless travels? He's telling them, and here on Daily Trust, he's saying, Sanusi to FG, borrowing after subsidy removal is wrong.
You know, after much respect for a traditional ruler or king, and it's like, who will tell the king the sad truth? Because truth is always bitter. The problem opponent silence says, go and carry basket, cover your face, if that is what you, and then tell the king, you do not do well here. Sanusi was former CBN governor of Nigeria, and a much revered, you know, he has a checkered history of being the emir. Where they remove him and bring him back, they are still tussling well. So with his history, we have two emir in one small canoe. That is good. It's all about politics. Politics about good. But we will not take away from him that he has experience about what they call economic management. Now, if nobody has told the federal government of Nigeria that you, the leader, the principal officer of this present government, the first minute he took oath, I swear to uphold the allegiance to the federal government, and the next thing is I remove subsidy. Since then, the center has not held and down. Now, what do we hear? The same people that removed subsidy went back, push and pull, back and forth on tax reform. They went back and organized, you know, carry sugar to coat chloroquine. I mean, you know, bitter, and then present to Nigeria's new tax reform. And it is yet to come. Nigeria have not known what is coming. Why are we taxing Nigerians after removing subsidy? In Arwana? So which one? Have we ever succeeded in robbing Peter to pay Paul? Is somebody not telling us the truth? At least one should have been better. If the person say it could have been better. A wife who is suffering from a husband ever beating the husband, suddenly the wife got a message that the husband is dead. The woman start crying. No, death should not kill the husband. Though. Let the man come back and continue to beat me. Oh. It's better we stay. We can manage a beating than managing the man's death. Nigeria could have managed the subsidy. The way he lasted, and they find a way. We are very difficult to manage tax burden. Nigerians are taxed left, right, and center. And who are the ones taxed? Ndi Oka Koka, the wretched of the earth. The big people of Nigeria do not pay tax. Quote me. It's only civil servants who they are at source, if that's when they want to pay them. Or private workers who the intimidation of the government on them for VAT and all the remittance of tax, those are the ones, only workers in Nigeria pay tax. And then traders, that of course in some states now, to own a shop, to do business, you'll be wondering what you are selling in that shop. Because he will say, you went to carve your teeth with 1 billion naira. When you laugh or smile, how much will you get? Some of the business people are crying of overtaxation. And nobody listens. Meanwhile, the same governors are receiving heavy money. The federal government said they're giving them in subsidy. So Nigerians are confused. We can't even say anywhere our problems are coming from. We don't know who is telling us the truth and who is not telling us the truth. That's why we're confused. And that's why, so when Sanusi comes openly, and even Peter Side tells federal government, you remove subsidy, you are increased tax on all sides for Nigerians, you are not reducing waste, you are not reducing cost of governance. 150 convoy for one single individual. You are renovating all the government, you are building brand new residential house for vice president. The old Adamawa that should be archives, you went to renovate it with billions of naira. You bought presidential jets, you bought presidential yachts, you bought presidential Escalade car, everything is at that high level, which shows people of the world that this country they don't need them. I mean, why are they crying? So you can wonder why I sit down here if you are crying when we have a president who is operating at this level.
Okay.
So something is wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not, there's no tax reform, there's no economic reform. We are still where we are. I said it.
All right, Chris, let's look at on the Nigerian Tribune, Anambra election, violence will be met with strong, uncompromising response. And we're seeing police to deploy 45,000 officers. That's quite
we have That's an average of every single Anambra man for this day, November 8th, has about 5 policemen to himself. Or do we say every 5 Anambra person has 1 policeman to guard? What a wonderful Nigeria. For all the time we are battling insecurity in Anambra, NSA is nowhere to be found. The election, they are talking from both sides of their mouth, extending time for people to come and collect votes. Now by force, let them start going house by house to give them voters card. And you are sending 45,000 policemen. That is police state. You know, when you have 45,000 states in one small Anambra, look at the map of Anambra, put 45,000 policemen for a one-day election. Imagine what that will happen. Who is sending them? Federal government. From IGP, the Inspector General of Police is, with his permission, 45,000 police will send. And who does IGP take permission orders from the president? And which president, which party has a president is APC? And we are in Nigeria. You have Apuga, who is going for that. You have PDP, who is going for that election. You have YPP going for that election. You have, and then when the president, through the IGP, sent 45,000 through the NSA, National Security Advisor, all of them to face Abuja, Anambra. All the people who are sending this are contesting in the Senate election. In Nigeria, we're expecting outcome. You know, for one thing, I'm from Anambra State. No history. All this one they're making Huda Barrow, they just want intimidation. Nobody in Anambra is ready for any violence for anything because they know already. Anambra people are politically enlightened. They know where the story is going. Of course, even that they have a way the Anambra people play their politics. They play their politics with structure owners. 5 minutes to election, the structure owners tells everybody who to vote for. Whether you come with the 1 billion police, what you do later is your wahala. Anambra people are not ready to die for any fool in the name of election. Go and mark it. So this one they're doing, the states where they're supposed to go and take 50,000 policemen are still coming. For Anambra, you don't need anybody to come. They are just coming there on holiday. And anytime you have this kind of number of policemen pass through a state, you know, without being told, some of them among the 45,000 policemen that go for election, you cannot vouch for their character. You can't vouch what they do because it's like IGP, the Commissioner of Police, is the mother monkey carrying baby monkey at the back, and then we're plucking fruit and be eating, and you can't swear for them that they are innocent. That's my own word. For God knows the heart of all men, and the same God will visit Nigeria soon because we tell ourselves lies, hoping that things will get better. It will never. But that is it. Thank you for having been with us this morning.
Yeah. For
having also to bear this my shout. May God bless you for being there and for your time. May God bless you, my grown-up angels. God bless Signature TV. Join us in this journey. We are on our way to somewhere. We take you there and you'll be happy if you get there with us. God bless you. But remember, God blessings are meant for those who deserve to be blessed.
Right, a very big thank you to you, Chris Maduka, for that review this morning. Now we'll take a quick break. When we return, Signature Morning continues.